Evening, and welcome to another edition of the Buddy Martin Show. This is the Thursday night Orange and Blue Bloods. That means mostly family type stuff where we go to get down and break it down and talk whatever we want to talk about and keep it close. We hope you'll join us tonight. It should be another outstanding show, being led off by the Troopster himself. Number 84 will join us, Ben Troupe, and Franz Beard will be along shortly. And then Coach Loren Meadows will join us after that. A lot of talk about the Olympics, a lot of talk about Gator football starts next week. Can you believe that? And here's my big question. When did the University of Miami become Alabama? I wonder what Troops got to say about that. Stand by. We'll find out just a moment right here on the Buddy Martin Show. It's the Thursday night, and it is time for Orange and Blue Bloods.
Buddy Martin, call him up and tell him what you're thinking, but be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye.
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
Hey, good evening. Welcome. I'm Buddy Martin. That's why it's called the Buddy Martin Show right there on the chest. And this is our final show of the week, but it's also a countdown. It's like the eve of football. We talked about it and now we're going to talk about the real deal. They're going to have the first practice on Tuesday. Blood starts boiling a little bit here, thinking about the games. And right off the bat, I'm thinking about that opening game in Miami. And I know I'm probably in the minority. These people are building this game up like it's, Georgia. And I'm thinking, let me think about this for a minute. Miami has a good quarterback, I hear, and they have a good coach, but I can hardly find anything to read on them or see on them. They are a favorite in the game, but when did the University of Miami's suddenly become Alabama? Oh, Florida's got to win this game. Well, yeah, I know Florida's got to win this game, and Florida wants to win this game. But keep in mind, it ain't exactly chopped liver either, okay? So let's ask this guy about that, see what he has to say about it. Chopped liver, chopped gator, I don't know. Even to you, Ben.
Even to you, buddy. And buddy, you would think though, right? I mean, Florida, they're coming off two, not so, impressive seasons. They got a guy named Graham Mertz at the helm. Billy Napier, he's not the guy for the job. Why they got so much to say about Florida? Why they got so much to say? And I get it. But you said something before we came on. When did Miami become Alabama? Let me say this. If you were in a conference and you've never won it, I don't even think you ever played for it. But you talk based on what you did before you got it. Now, Big East, they ran the Big East. But since they came up or over to the ACC, ask the person from Miami, do they know what Charlotte is? They'll go, Charlotte? What's that? Charlotte home of the ACC championship game. Oh, no. Because my thing is this, buddy. When we talking about the U, we talking about two different programs. We talking about the one you and I remember and the one that's now. And for anybody that's saying, well, Ben, I think you're being a bit harsh. No, I'm not. I played against that 2001 Miami Hurricanes. Yeah. I played against the 2000 Hurricanes. I played against the 2000. Wait a minute. I played against them in 2000.
There's some ballers there.
I played against them in 2000. Listen, played against them in 2002. I'm sorry. Played against them in 2003. Was 0-3 against them, by the way. They were really, really good teams. I'm not saying they weren't great teams, but buddy, this is what I get from all this hype, all this talk about Florida, Miami. Miami knows what Florida's capable of. Miami remember this same talk about another coach that was a head coach at Florida. He played him. What was it? When did he play the first game of the year? Where did he play him at? In Orlando. How did that game end up? They took an L. So all I'm saying is this Miami team knows, hey, man, we don't really got a track record as of late to talk to anybody. Florida, nobody. When you talk about what Miami has or hasn't done. Now, I will say this. It's a tale of two teams trying to figure out their identity. They're not going to.
And I understand that. That's
they're
true.
Not gonna figure it out. They're not going to figure it out.
Such a big spotlight on it because two
programs.
Buddy,
why so much talk?
So.
Like, buddy, think about this. All Florida does is answer questions when asked, whether it's players, coaches. Miami got a lot to say, though. Miami got a lot. And I get it. A lot of it's coming from, beat writers. It ain't really coming from the players themselves. But Miami knows this. And I'm like you, buddy. It's the first game of the year. Nothing's going to be decided in week one. It's only a big game because of who it is. It's more the who than the what. But Miami knows this, though. All Florida got to do is cast a little doubt and take advantage of it. Because Miami knows, hey, man, what about us as of late makes us think that we can just beat them? Based off what the odds makers say, based off what. But, buddy, here's the thing, though. Florida goes out, they handle business. What they going to say? Oh, man, well, they just called us because it's week one? Oh, it's because – all I'm saying is this. Florida's quarterback is coming back for year 2. Miami got a brand new quarterback. Now, he's a good one.
He's pretty good. He started 25 games at Washington State. But, I mean,
but at the same time, though, right? At the same time, he's a good player. Because, once again, the last time Florida played Miami, they had a transfer that was really, really good from where he came from. I'm not saying he wasn't a good player at Miami. I'm not saying it either. When I tell you, buddy, it's setting up real similar. Now, do we want the end result to be how it was the last time? Yeah, that's going to be easy to say to them, but, buddy, everything's on the line. Yeah. Napier versus Cristobal, right? Mertz and the offense versus that defense. But, buddy,
by the way, Cristobal has won one game more than Billy in 2 years, who came to Miami with all this hoopla. What a great coach. What a great pick. They got him out of Oregon. He's going to be a world beater and all that stuff. He is doing no better than Billy. Now, granted, I'm not saying he got good players, not a good coach, but it's what you've done.
Yes.
What's your track record? Because this ain't Oregon, or whatever.
We'll. But all I know is this: Miami is good for college football when they're good. Florida is good for college football when they're good. Florida and Miami are 2 of the big 3. Florida and Miami are both tradition-rich programs. But I think Florida lives in reality more than Miami does for this reason. Miami talks like it's already in the bag. Oh, man, we got this. And we like, huh? You got what? Now, I get it. Miami's done a good job recruiting, but they've never not recruited well. That's never been the problem. Miami has an identity problem. You don't believe me? Ask Nate Diaz.
Yeah.
Ask Mario Cristobal. It's been a long time, buddy, but I will say this. You know who I'm rocking? It will be orange and blue versus that orange and green, right? And like I said, I've been on Florida teams that weren't expected to do much, right? And lived up to the billing. I've been on Florida teams that was ranked number 1 in the country, right? And did really well. This is going to be a Florida team that's going to have to create itself every single weekend, starting against Miami. But I like their chances, buddy, because like I said, just look at Graham Mertz. Graham Mertz talks with confidence, plays with confidence. He just got to stay healthy. I just think that he didn't come back to cement his legacy. He came back because he knows, I know what Florida can do for him. I'm looking forward to it, buddy. And like I say, Clinton Portis, the great Clinton Portis from Gainesville that went to Gainesville High School was on my show. Was on my show 4 years ago. When about 6 years ago now, when old Dan Mullen became the head coach of Florida and Florida had Miami. He came on the show, and this is what he said. He said, well, being Troupe, I appreciate you having me on the show, but you sure don't want to put no money up. I said, Clinton. I said, you know how easy it is to come on these national airways to talk about putting money up? You know what he never did? He never put no money up. Because and when people can listen, they talk big. But when I hung up the phone and say, "Hey, Clinton, man, I ain't gonna tell you what the private conversation was. The public conversation, I'm the professional. But you know how it is, buddy. They're gonna say something to Buddy Martin on the air because they know Buddy Martin is in his element. He got to be professional. But what about when I call you off the air? Oh man, I was just trying to. All I'm saying is, we will see because ain't no more hiding. I'm looking forward to the season starting on Tuesday. Buddy, we made it through another off season. We made it.
Let's drill down on this for a minute. For saying, okay, I don't know. I guess Gator fans are obviously and should be excited because it's a new year. Got 16 teams in the SEC. They got better players with more experience. And even with the schedule they got, it's going to be fun to see these games. They're going to get their brains beat out every week. So I think it's good. But at the same token, I don't think Miami gets people as excited as it does when you say playing in the middle of the sea, playing Tennessee, for instance. And the ESPN, now I'm not going to accuse anybody of this. Ever since ESPN has announced that game day will start in Gainesville for the Miami game, that first game day will be there. All of a sudden, they've ramped up that Florida-Miami game, and I can see it's the all end all greatest game of the century, and people are saying it's the greatest. I mean, and a lot of people have bought into it. A lot of people I know bought into it, and people say, "Well, it's the greatest opening game Florida ever played." Well, no, it's not, and I can go into other games, but it's an important game because for what you said, two programs going the other way, got to bring it in, and two good coaches who've not performed. That's one thing. So my friend Paul Feinbaum, who didn't have a lot of interest in this game now, talks about it all the time. It's like, boy, Florida better win that game. That would be devastating if they lose that game. And I say, it'd be devastating to lose to Tennessee, but not to Miami. Because you're still playing for the SEC. Yeah. I don't know. That's just me. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But it's going to be a good conversation. It's going to be an interesting game, good opener, but you have to win, but you got to win a lot of them. You can't lose to UCF, So I just wonder, maybe it's me, if this game has been overhyped just a little bit.
It is, well, of course it is, buddy. But buddy, that's the part about Florida and Miami that we have forgotten about. Remember when, Florida and Miami didn't need to be hyped up because the teams were both right. But it shows you the prestige because it's the thing. Do game day try to hype up games that aren't really, that lack that all sizzle, no steak? Yeah. I think Florida Miami I think what they're doing is saying, look, man, to y'all fan bases, to y'all other enthusiasts of college football, y'all forgot. Let me help y'all remember, man. And we're not that far removed when Florida Miami. I played Miami my senior year when ABC had the big game of the week. ABC Sports, Lynn Swan on the call down there at the Orange Bowl playing them Hurricanes. I think what they're doing sometimes, buddy, is this. That would be like me watching a great player who's no longer a great player, and I'm judging them on what he is now. You go, whoa. And I think that's what it is. It's these commentators, they understand, hey, man, we looking at two teams that used to be juggernauts now. These two teams right here. Yeah. And I think sometimes the hype helps the players on both sides understand. Hey man, why everybody talking like about us? Because they were like, well, you know where you at? I used to get that all the time when I was at Florida. Like sometimes when you're a player, it's easy to get caught up in it, naive, because you're there and you have an outside on look, or you have somebody on the outside, or a former player or coach or lover of Florida help you understand, man, these moments are precious because you in the most precious seats in the state. Yeah. You get to be, you are at the flagship university in Florida. So I like it. And here's the thing about Feinbaum. Feinbaum knows no matter what he says, he could talk like the game is lackluster on Monday, come right back on Tuesday and blow it. Because he's built up that type of rapport. But buddy, I will say that when I think about Florida Miami, as a person that was blessed enough to be a part of this rivalry, even though I was on the losing end of it, I know how incredible it is. I know how much college football needs these two teams to figure out who they are.
That's true.
Because when they do, look, The Hurricanes got 30 for 30s, right? That's what they used to be on.
Mhm.
Florida has a Netflix documentary, right? Because that's how great those teams were. Because at one point Miami was winning national championships with every coach that came through there. Everyone was coming through there was winning them. But will Miami ever get back to where they were? I say no. Can Florida? I say yes. Only because Florida isn't lacking anything, right, at this point, in my opinion, but an opportunity to show it. Because the culture. I'm not saying. Let me say this. I am not saying that Florida is going to be national championship contenders in 2024. That is not what I am saying. I want that to be that, but that's not what I am saying. I am saying, buddy, in college football, you tell me if I'm wrong. You need three things, and I could be wrong. You need a quarterback, right? You need a culture, right? And you need a coach. To me, they got the quarterback. I think the culture is still being built, but it's much farther along than it was.
The missing one is you need a defense also.
We're absolutely. Well, that's a part of the culture, but because you know the thing about Coach Berger that's never talked about how good his defenses was. We know what his offenses were, right?
Yeah,
but he also had Fred. He also had Javon Curse, didn't he? He had Alex Brown, didn't he?
Yeah.
He had Fred Weary. These are all-time great. Lito Shepard. Right?
Great players.
But buddy, that's how great his offense and teams were. We forgot. Hey man, teams are you can't blow teams out if the defense can't get off the field. That's true. All I'm saying is I think that Florida has a shot to recapture their identity. They got to maintain that throughout the season. But buddy, with this schedule, starting with week 1, I'm just looking forward to waking up Sunday morning. And I want to see what the headline's going to be. Because, buddy, you know what it is. If Florida wins, it ain't because Florida's better than the team they played. It's because, the other team had a down day. Florida made them had a down day. So we'll see. We'll see. No excuses no matter what happens, but I am looking forward to week 1.
All right, good points. Let me make a couple other points here, and I'm going to do a quick shout-out to our great sponsor, Melda Law. This probably means nothing to anybody but me. But as someone who's done talk shows for many, many years, one of the things I've always prided myself on is having great guests, and we have had great guests over the years. And if there's a subject matter going on in the SEC or in Florida, I know the guy to call, right? I'll get somebody on who has some expertise, right? Well, here's what's funny. I thought to myself, you know what? I need to get up on Miami and just start learning a little bit about my University of Miami. And I'm thinking, oh, wait, I'll call that guy. Oh, he's not there anymore. I'll call this guy. Oh, he's not there anymore. And I couldn't go with a name of anybody covering University of Miami. I looked on Twitter. I called a couple of buddies of mine who live down that way, and they're in the newspaper business. I mean, and they know what's going on. And I said, buddy, I don't know who to tell you to call. They couldn't come up with a name of a media person who would talk about Miami.
They don't want you to know who they don't want you to know who they are. They don't want you to, hey man, hey, is this so and so? Yeah, you a beat writer for Miami, man. How'd you get this number?
Would you like to be one? Yeah. I mean, anyway, I know it means nothing to most people, but to me, it's like, oh my gosh, are you telling me there's nobody there who can talk about Miami? I mean, anyway, that was one small thing. Meanwhile, there's other things. There's so much. I can't emphasize this enough. And folks, I'm not complaining. I'm really happy about this whole season. I'm happy about the expanded league. I'm happy about the 12-team playoff. I can't wait for the season to start. But there's so many loose ends and so little that we know about these programs.
Mm-hmm.
And the other day, Nick Saban made the statement. He's right. There's probably 2 or 3 guys on each roster that we never heard of who are going to make big plays in games this year. Don't even know their names. Not just anywhere. And so trying to find out information is brutal. And you still got people moving around. I read this today that apparently Florida's chief of staff, football chief of staff, I don't know what his position is, Mark Robinson, has reportedly interviewed with the Georgia Bulldogs. Are you kidding me? A week before you're going to tee off practice, he's interviewing with the mighty Bulldog? I don't get it. I don't know what's going on there. So a lot of stuff going on. Coaches going back and forth. When you got that many coaches, I guess it's tough to rein them in, and get them all to And then the other thing is that Florida doesn't have a president yet. That's what he.
Yeah,
That's
we are still wishing him and his family, our former president, the best.
absolutely,
I think,
absolutely. Yeah, Dr. Fox. And here's the thing, Dr. Fox is actually coming back in as an interim while Sass is his wife is healing, and we pray for the Fast family. But if I said to you last year, Ben, I'm going to give you 3 people, and I'm going to tell you that one of them's not going to be here by September. The head coach of Florida, the AD at Florida, and the president of Florida. Who would you have said? You would have said the president.
Hey, I would have said I would have never said the president. I mean, never. But had I said the president, you would have looked at him like, "Do you know something I don't know?" Because
Yeah,
that's not something. The president for presidents to either, if a president steps down, it's got to be something, or resigns, it's got to be something. But usually if something is going on with a president at a college or university, that's usually that they had something to do with. That's usually not good. It doesn't mean it's catastrophic, but I just think that we don't give ADs and presidents and chancellors and head coaches enough credit. No, we don't give them enough grace. These positions are extremely difficult to maintain. People look at the money that they get. I say, yeah, but the money don't always justify the means. I mean, especially with these head coaches, right? When Mark Richt first got to Georgia, and when he left, he looked like he had been there way longer. And I'm always praying for Mark Richt as well with his condition. It's like sometimes, buddy, we forget that these men and women are, husbands and wives and fathers and mothers. We forget because we are so. It's almost like, and I'm gonna keep saying this, Billy Napier. Listen, do yourself the greatest thing you could do. Sit down with Buddy Martin. I know Buddy ain't gonna say for this reason though. Sometimes, Buddy, it's like this. Every time someone says something about Urban Meyer, you can tell if they lying or not. Now, the accusations is one thing, but attacking his character is another. Because you know him, it's different when you know a person.
Right.
Compared to most of us don't know none of these people. We ain't never met them, shook hands with them, had a conversation with them, and we talk about them like we just had lunch with them the day before.
Yeah, that's true.
You know Coach Spurrier, you know Urban Meyer. You sat down, you've spoken to him away from these cameras and these mics. And I think the thing is, President said what you pray the most for our former president is that he gets and his family gets everything they need. Because sometimes, buddy, stepping away, people kept saying Nick Saban, he's going to come back. And do what? Like, what hasn't he done? He's saying, man, I can't do this forever. And I think the thing about these coaches, and like I said, these coaches or even assistant coaches and chancellors and ADs, sometimes we need to be the one saying, Coach, look, sir, whoever. I sat next to Jeremy Foley when I got inducted to the Florida-Georgia Game Hall of Fame in Jacksonville. And I'm just looking at Jeremy Foley, and I'm saying to myself, man, how did you maintain it all these years? He's like, man, he said, the grace of God, man. Because it's like, because he goes, you get these opportunities, right? And you looking so much at the opportunity. When it's every game, every coach, every player, every season, every moment, every situation. And it's like, and then he goes, Florida's good. So they're winning. And for me, when he sat there, he was like, Ben, I'm proud of you, man. You the type of player that we're trying to recruit now. It's like, because no matter what, buddy, people think as a player, people I don't care about the criticism. I don't care about. Yeah, you do.
Of course you do.
Of course, because
I don't read the papers. Yes, you do.
Listen, and when sitting there next to him, him just saying these kind words to me, I was just like, look, man, I appreciate you, Mr. Foley, man, because no one knows what you deal with but other ADs. Nobody. And that's such a rare of the rare when you're talking about who's been an AD. But hey, buddy, I'm just hoping that our former president get what he needs. Listen, we support him fully in what he's doing. And hey, man, sometimes, buddy, even yourself, you put so many years into this profession that you've given so much to. Sometimes when you got that award, that's just a small token of appreciation for what you've done and continue to do. So whenever you get a chance to take a break, my dad would always say, he said, man, how much time you need off? They'll say, I need a week. My dad would say, take 2. You ask me for 1, I'll give you 2. Because the first week is for you. The second week is on me because, it's about showing appreciation. But, yeah, man, I just appreciate the grind that some of these people put in, because the fact that Nick Saban still wants to be around the game and he's giving this much, both college and pro. I mean, Nick Saban literally ain't in the NFL because he lost out on the Drew Brees sweepstakes. That's how he ended up back at Alabama. So, hey, I got a chance to be a part of this thing. And Coach Spurrier, I don't know how you do it, sir, but may God bless you. Continuing to be who he is. The fact that he called you on the show a couple of shows ago. That stuff is beautiful, man. Listen, what you about to do, man? I'm about to watch the debate. What you about to do?
Yeah. I want to get back to a point you said so while ago, that sometimes you have these things that hit you, and I promise you I'll take a break and tell people about our good sponsors. When Lane Kiffin's dad died, it certainly humanized Lane in a different way.
Yes.
That's when I hit me, and I was on the air. We forget, as you said, their sons and fathers and uncles and aunts. They're real people with real families and real problems. And you can see Lane's grief, and you could feel Monty, who's been such a great coach for all these years. And you realize these are people you're dealing with, whether you like them or not. They're people. And sometimes we forget that. The second thing was, I was watching yesterday, just randomly, turn on TV, and this series, Saturdays Down South, was on. And it's about the SEC. And there's a couple of the shows that I happened to be interviewed in. I was trying to show my wife, Dawn, which I never did see. But there's such a really great touch at the end of part 8 about what these towns, what this football league means to Baton Rouge and Tuscaloosa and Gainesville and these small southern towns. It's more than a culture in the sport. It's everything to them, They build their whole lives around it, their vacations around it. I thought, how lucky am I? And I know it's a cliche to say it means more. How lucky am I to be covering a sport that people love so much and care so much about? Because there's not a whole lot of things people care about. Yeah. And it sure can't be politics, that's for sure. Yeah. So I felt very blessed about that, to be a part of it. All right, let me tell you, I'm grateful also to have our friends from Meldon Law here as our sponsors. They've been for a long time. I know Jeffrey's over in Europe having a great vacation. He'll be back in a couple of weeks. They're very good fans and very loyal people. They're the only official law firm, of the University of Florida, and they do sponsor a lot of things, give away a lot of things, tickets and prizes. I encourage you in the season to go to their Facebook page and score some tickets or prizes from Meldon Law. They do many good things in the community, like their Scholar Athlete Awards, which I was blessed to be able to go speak to that group. And they just are good people, and they're also lawyers. I have to remind Jeffrey sometimes, Jeffrey, don't you want to talk about law? Because he forgets. And they like to say, if you have an issue with your attorney, not trying to steal their business, if you can't get what you need out of your local attorney, and you need a second opinion like medicine, give them a call at Meldon Law. They have 4 offices now to serve you, and they'll give you some advice, tell you what they think you should do. And that's what they do. They're here for you. So offices in Ocala, Lake City, and Gainesville, and now a new one in Williston. Meldon Law, they won't back down. We thank them for their sponsorships. So, Ben, did you read this stuff about all the stuff about the scholarship, the number of scholarships the NCAA has proposed to increase? A lot of scholarships. Did you read that story?
I did not, but I mean, anytime the NCAA is trying to be on the right side of, I mean, how many scholarships are we talking about as far as like increase?
Let me read this to you because this is significant. The NCAA is expected to approve increased scholarships across multiple sports, according to Ross Dellinger, who's a very good reporter. Listen to this. Football will go to 105 plus 20. Basketball will go to 15 plus 2. And here's two big ones. Baseball will go to 34, which is plus 22. Can you imagine what Sully can do with 22 more scholarships? Softball goes to 25 plus 30, and volleyball 18, which is plus 6. That's significant. Now, people tell me they're trying to eliminate the walk-on programs. I don't care why, but I think that's wonderful that this opportunity exists. And they do have, you can't have one scholarship broken into 9 pieces like they used to do when I played baseball 100 years ago. So I think that's a positive. What do you think, Ben?
I think, well, first I'm looking at Michael E. Burton said, Ben, do the Titans ever practice with the offensive line for blocking? Yes. I know it don't seem like it on Saturdays, but yes, they do take us over there with the big ugly sometime for us to figure out, how to push that defensive end up to that linebacker. But yes, we do that. But buddy, I love this for so many reasons, but the biggest reason is this. The mere fact that these other sports had players that were some of the best players that ever come through these schools that was on partial scholarship or no scholarship at all lets you know just how much they love what they did. But I love the increase in softball. I love the increase in baseball. I love the fact that you're going to add 20 more scholarships to football. So you're going from 85 to 105. Look, some of the greatest football players and people I've ever come across never was on scholarship. Some of the greatest football players and people I've ever come across weren't on scholarship. They had to pay to go to school. They was never late to practice. They was never late to running. They was never late to lifting. They was never late to anything. And they were paying to be there. I think that things like this are going to make it so that a person that come to school, this preferred walk-on stuff will go away. Because I think the thing about the walk-on player, buddy, that's so incredible is the walk-ons help us understand what we're really doing, like what it really means to be what we are and do what we're doing, because they don't ever complain. And guess what? Some of them struggling in school. Some of them struggling to pay their rent, their tuition, their books. But Coach Spurrier or Coach Zook or, Coach Muschamp or, Coach Mullen, Coach Napier, he gives them a role. And they embrace that role. Like I said, I'm going to keep on saying it. Zephyr Augustine, Ward number 20. Me and him used to go at it every day in practice, every day. All the years later, I see him. He's with his wife. And before I could say what's up, he said, hey, baby, that's being true. That's the one I used to get right for. He said, I used to get him right for Saturdays. And let me tell you something. If I'm the younger me, ego-driven me, prideful me, I'm gonna try to cut him down. Like, man, you ain't do this, do that. But you know what? He let me know. Coach Zook used to give him an opportunity, give him a job to do, and he did it. He did it. So the extra 20 scholarships, I'm for it. The softball, baseball, for basketball, I'm for it, because there are far too many players on a football, baseball, softball team that should be on scholarship. But sometimes it ain't your talent, it's the numbers. You got, and listen, if Sully doing what he doing on partial, oh my God. Yeah. It's about, I say, people, it's about to get ugly. Because people say, why do Florida be snatching all these players from these other schools? And listen, my pastor said, hey man, they keep on saying, you taking all my sheep. You taking all my sheep. He goes, I ain't taking your sheep. We just grow grass over here. So I'm just saying, y'all better be on the lookout, because Sully is coming. He's humble, but he's coming for you. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to that.
I'm trying to figure out how to get some of that good-looking pizza that Franz is eating.
Listen. Not only is Franz eating it, Franz putting it in the screen so we can see it. Like, yep, I'm gonna eat it right here on camera,
right in front of our face, right here.
Franz said, my stomach will not be growling. Hold on, buddy. His plate kind of looked like, y'all remember Buddy Martin plays back in like 2022, 2023. every week he was showing his little green that he growing his own leaves.
Yeah, I did. I had all those veggies.
We saw that hamburger.
All veggies then, yeah.
Buddy, they listen, buddy, they got you and the missus going to Checkers getting the Baconator. Let me get 2 of those.
Listen, I'm trying to eat healthy. I've got a protein diet I'm on right now. We'll see what happens. Good evening, France. I know Franz has had a rough week. He and Brendan both have rough weeks, I got to tell you. And Franz, I'm sorry about your parents being ill. I wish you the best. I know you've had no sleep all week. Thanks for joining us tonight. But we wouldn't be the same without the Iron Duke. We had to get you on.
Well, I'm going to eat as I talk. It's not nice to talk with your mouth open, but I can still talk a little bit.
Right.
Ben just laid it on. The one there's all, for every good thing, there's also a bad side of it. And yeah, Sully, Tim Walton, people like this, everybody's going to get a scholarship increase. Everybody. But the top 5 sports, which are women's volleyball, softball, baseball, men's and women's basketball, and football, all those top sports are going to combine to get at least 60 altogether. New
I just read the list. I gave just read the list off a minute ago. What each sports? Sully's going to get a bunch of scholarships.
Yeah, he's going to wind up with about 21, 22 more scholarships. Here's the thing: there's for every good side, there's something. There is that flip side to it, and here's where the flip side to it is. Somebody like Florida is going to go out there and get some kid from that might be looking at, his best scholarship offer could be under the current circumstances. He might be looking at, okay, I can go to Stetson or I can go to Samford or South Alabama or a place like that and get a scholarship and play. Whereas now all of a sudden he's going to be at Florida, and it's going to affect the people below, to the point that the people below, like the Stetsons, they're going to have to go someplace and get something, and there's a ripple effect of it. So there will be an effect of that. And you got the Title IX people. They are going to make their voices known. They insist that it's got to be 1-to-1. For every men's scholarship, there has to be a women's scholarship. But that means you're either going to have to add scholarships or figure out something else or make some sort of a settlement arrangement. Yeah. My belief all along has been that this is going to lead to football, at least, becoming a corporate entity that rents its space from the university. And you're going to have players who have the option going to school as part of it, or some of them might just decide, hey, all I want to do is come play football. But they're going to rent the space, and football is going to become that separate entity, and therefore everything else can be equal 1-to-1. Mm-hmm. And it may come down to that. It may sound radical right now, but we thought adding 20 scholarships to football and 20 something to baseball 5 years ago, we thought that sounded kind of radical too. Mm-hmm. But I do believe that we're going to head to something like that.
Yeah, by the way, Franz, there's a nice comment about your column today. Michael Burton says, enjoyed it. Your column. You can subscribe to Gator Bait and read Franz regularly. And go to Gator Bait Media. I forget to tell people that .com and sign up for the program. Also, smash that subscribe button here. Join us and help us build this audience, which we're continuing to try to do. And by the way, Brendan is now, getting his roof tarped, and my roof in Ocala, and that tree came right down like a spear. It was on Facebook. And so, like I said, Franz and Brendan had a tough week. So we're glad things are getting a little bit better. Let's get back to the subject at hand. Ben, you and I were talking about this earlier, and we'll get Loren Meadows to weigh in. The opponent for Florida opening game is a good one. Franz, you've been around a long time, and Ben, you played and you've been there. Is this thing being overhyped as the greatest opening game in the history of Florida? I mean, really, I can remember some pretty good ones here, Franz. I said in the opening, I said in the show, when did Miami become Alabama?
Well, here's the thing that people don't realize. Miami will benefit from the pansiest schedule in Division I this year. They play 2 good football teams. one of them being Florida, the other one being Florida State. And everybody else on that schedule is convents, homeless shelters, the Waterboy League flag football all-stars. Now they got a tremendous quarterback in the transfer portal, but they lost a.
Is he better than Mertz? Because
no, he's not.
He started 25 games.
I don't know that he's better than the guy they lost.
He started 25 games for Wazoo, which is I hear he's a great player. I've not seen that much of it, but yeah, okay. And how many more games has Cristobal won than Billy?
Not that many more.
What? So Ben and I were observing it and talking about why they've hyped this game up so much. Florida's a 2.5. Listen, Florida is a 2.5 point underdog at home. Now, I'm not a gambling man, but if I can get them as a home dog, I would like that. They're better. Am I crazy?
I'm not surprised. Buddy, let me tell you something. The hardest thing to do as a player is to stop thinking that people are against you. Like, man, why are we getting this type of publicity? Because they try. Florida is a big target and an easy target when you start talking about certain things that have been going on. But Graham Mertz said the best. He said, Ben, we are what our record says it is. So we're not creeping up on nobody. He said, I think it would be crazy for us to think we're going to get any type of positive publicity nationally and consistently. Because if they were, we'll start questioning that too. Like, wait a minute, did they not watch the film last year? Things of that nature. But I think the thing about this Florida team is, man, that's why you enjoy the banter. I enjoy it. I enjoy it for two reasons, right? I enjoy it because I'm used to it. And some of these people have nerve, don't they? Like, not to get out the subject, but Tennessee Vols fans act like the football team won the Natty. Let them tell it was the football team. But so for me, buddy and friends, it's business as usual. It's like this. The hardest quarterback to win the Heisman, the hardest quarterback that's going to have to win the Heisman is going to be Florida. Because even if your number's there, you might not win it. You don't believe me? We've had Rex Grossman. He should have won it, right? And the fact that Kyle Trask he was out of all the votes, he was fifth. So all I'm saying is when you start talking about this Florida team, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And Josh Payton, all these people that came through Florida that said, look, man, I think they're going to be better than advertised. And this is just being honest. Outside of Georgia, Ole Miss, Ohio State, Oregon, maybe Texas, a lot of these teams aren't in that different of a boat than Florida. Well, people are like, man, these other teams going to be good. Based off of what? So, hey, buddy, I'm looking forward to game one because, like I said, them Miami boys, the one thing Florida has to do is create doubt and add to it. But the Florida players and the Miami players, they ain't did nothing. So I'm talking to the beat writers. I'm talking to the adults. I have nothing against a Miami Hurricane as a player. I am a fan of college football players first, college football second, then my Gators. And my Gators, sometimes they 2, sometimes they 3. I just think, buddy, as much as Miami think it's because of them, it ain't. Like, Florida is still a national talking point because, buddy, just like you, me, and friends, people are scratching their heads saying, what's going on in Florida? Like, you know what I'm saying? And the wins ain't gonna go out there and make themselves. But I'm just saying, I'm just ready for the excuses, man. I'm telling you. And people say, well, how do I know? When we were 3-3 and we went up there to LSU my senior year and we beat them with an 18-year-old quarterback, you should have heard them excuses. Oh my God, LSU ain't have their best day. Obviously, a 3-3 team came in and beat y'all at home with an 18-year-old quarterback. Stop playing with me. So I'm just saying, I have seen this before. I'm talking about. I can write a book on how. There are people out there that really, really think Coach Spurrier was all right as a coach. He's never been all right. I said, yeah, maybe he was with the Redskins, not at Duke, not at South Carolina.
Yeah.
Not in Florida. Now, listen, not even in the USFL. He was good there. So I'm looking. Listen, Miami fans, let me tell y'all something. Y'all be flooding my my Twitter feed or X or whatever they want to call it. Y'all, listen, y'all gonna hate me if y'all lose. I'm telling you. I know who you are. And let me tell you something. Y'all grown men out there that got burner accounts, y'all need to be fined. You a grown man with a burner account talking trash to me. Some guy told me the other day, I ain't just sitting here, I'm not sitting here, behind no keyboard. Yes, the hell you are. And you, of course that's what you're doing. But do what you normally do. Talk trash to me online, see me in person, have nothing to say. I'm not gonna do anything.
Yeah.
I might look physically imposing. I'm not gonna do anything. I ain't gonna.
Oh, come on, man! You need to rock a few heads here.
No. Because here's the thing, friends. Because even if I win, I lose. Even if I'm justified in what I'm doing, they're gonna say the police gonna get there and they're gonna point. Look at him. He what?
I said, Gainesville, we know people. Yeah, it's gonna be all right.
Listen.
Anyway,
Melton Wall. I'm calling on Melton Wall to get me.
Call Freddie Weeby and call Jeffrey Melton, and you're good. Yeah, you're all right.
Here's the thing, it is being hyped because it is Miami and Florida, and they need a great opening game for ESPN.
Exactly what I said earlier. It's funny how much more it's hyped now that they have now named Florida as their opening game day show. Sure. Now it's becoming even bigger, and since then, even Feinbaum is all over it, so.
But here's the other thing. This game, it's important. It is the most important opening game in a while.
I'll go with that statement. I agree with that, but it's not the greatest in the history of Florida football. Yeah,
it's the most important game since 2018. And who did the Gators play in 2018? Excuse me, it was 2019. They played the Miami Hurricanes in Game 1 down in the Citrus Bowl. We were there, Bud Light, and Florida comes in there with Felipe Franks at quarterback. Miami is thinking they're going to win, and Florida won that ball game. Yeah. Florida, it's important though for Florida because the Gators, they need the psychological advantage of beating a ranked team on opening game.
No doubt about it. I grant you that, but don't blow them into the second.
No.
Oklahoma, Nebraska, 71. Hey, let me get you guys in real fast on this. Think about this while I do this commercial for Titan MRI. A lot of good things have happened to Florida's football program in recent months, even weeks. They got a coach back they needed for recruiting. They've signed some terrific players. They're all the recruiting is going well. Nobody's getting in trouble in the law that I know of, and things seem to be on the upbeat. What that means, I don't know. You can talk about it all you want to, but those close games, if they just would have won those two last year, they got that schedule. But how do we think things look now as to how they looked 90 days ago, and what can we extrapolate for that? Think about that. What I tell you about TitanMRI.com. If you need an MRI, listen up. If you live in the Gainesville area, if you want to go somewhere where they'll custom make an appointment for you, just for you, because you can't get off work, somewhere where they're aware of the fact that some people get claustrophobic when they get an MRI, and sometimes they don't have insurance. Titan MRI is just a place for you. They will custom make an appointment, night, weekends, whatever, for you. Also, they are very conscious of the tight quarters you're in. And they do things with their camera and stuff to make it so it's not so enclosing on you. And if you don't have insurance, well, guess what? Use cash or card to pay for it. And it's not that outrageous. So I encourage you. They're located in Gainesville now. TitanMRI.com. If you need an MRI, tell them Buddy Martin sent you. All right, guys, it looks like he's not exactly a clear path. We all know about what the first 5 or 6 weeks mean and what the back half of the season is and the Bataan Death March. But we also know things happen during the season. Something can happen that can inspire you all of a sudden. Someone will step up that you didn't expect to, and things do happen in football. Now, I'm not going to start blowing smoke. There's no doubt this is going to be a tough role for Billy. But as we sit here now, 90 days ago, how did things look then, and how do things look now, Ben?
90 days ago, it was chaotic. Now it's chaotic, but it's organized. It's just organized now, because I think the thing about it was 90 days ago, certain things are self-inflicted. We don't know who the OC is. We always knew who it was. We all knew who it was. Just say it. But I think the thing is, buddy, what stabilizes chaos is things we all can agree on, and that is recruiting. Oh my God, you getting the guys you want? Yeah. You getting legacy players? Yep. And when the coaching staff brings back somebody in recruiting, it's always good, buddy, because what else are we gonna do in the offseason but lose our mind over every little thing? That's what we're gonna lose our mind over everything. But listen, every time I see them little sparklers go up, and I see Billy Napier walking on the field, and I say, we got to recruit with the little emoji, with the sunshine emoji, with the glasses on. We go crazy over these recruits like any of them gonna pan out. We don't even know if they're gonna be. But that's what we've come to in this life. To our livelihood is on the backs of 17 to 18-year-olds whose biggest decision is: are they gonna wear a tie? Are they gonna wear a tie to cummerbund, or just a tie for the prom? And here we are. But it is more stable now, buddy, because a lot of question marks now have periods. We kind of know what we have, organization wise. And guess what, buddy? We haven't played a game yet. So that's why we can really go, whew. Now, if this is after week 1, because, buddy, we don't really put the previous season behind us until we show promise in the current season, but we haven't played yet. But it is more calm. But buddy, what it is now, it's a duck on water. So on the surface, Billy Napier and company look real calm. They kicking and screaming like crazy underneath that water. But I think Billy Napier has done a good job of addressing a lot of things that they had question marks. Taking guys like Shamar James, Montrell Johnson, obviously Graham Mercer, SC Media Days helps because you got veteran guys who believe in you, believe in the system, believe in the culture, believe in the team. And buddy, and like I said, inviting other news outlets to campus because you're like, look, man, I mean, we kind of got to do it, but let's show you, man, we ain't got nothing to hide. I appreciate just Billy Napier trying to address these issues because, like I said, some of them didn't have to be. They were. But, buddy, as calm as he can, as composed as he can, I give him an A because, buddy, just like I know. We some time removed from it, but when you got National Gatorade Player of the Year as your up and coming quarterback, that matters. When you get a 5-star recruit, LJ McCray, that matters. When you getting these big time transfers, that matters. When you getting people like VB3 for 2025, that stuff matters because, buddy, this is what he did more than anything else. Football is, to me, it is 75% perception and 25% reality. And now sometimes that reality sways a little bit, but he won that perception game. Now he won it because he played no games yet. But I got to give him some credit because he takes a lot of scrutiny, as he should and will. But hey, man, he's getting the recruits in, he's getting the coaches in. He seemed to have calmed the waters, at least for now. Ain't no storm.
All I hear you say, Ben, is he's brought it back some.
He better. I mean, like I said, he was straight.
But at this point, he hadn't played a game.
But here's the key thing that Ben just said: the word calm. What's different 90 days from now is everybody thought that, oh my gosh, Florida's blowing up. And look, Florida's not blowing up. They're adding good pieces. Everything is calm. They've got a new strength coach in there that everybody is raving about. There haven't been arrests. You look at the spring academic academic honor roll. Florida's setting new records for that. You look at people adding muscle, losing fat. I mean,
That's the most impressive stat I heard. They lost 50 pounds of fat and gained 50 pounds of muscle. I don't know what that means, but I can figure out it's pretty good, you know.
But here's the key word. It's calm. You don't see a coach in any kind of a panic mode. And then he goes to SEC media days with a very, very confident quarterback who has 43 starts, who, trust me, is going to play himself into a pretty good draft pick this year. I don't think he'll be a first rounder, but I think you could see him maybe making it into the second round or even the third round. You're talking about a guy that's going to get drafted and going to have a pretty good career in the NFL, kind of like, if nothing more than for what Shane Matthews did. Captain Clipboard was always there because he had it up here. Graham Mertz will make it because he's got it up there and he throws a pretty good ball too.
Now it's Captain iPad now, so.
But calm is the key word, and we have not seen the slightest look of panic or sounds of panic.
That is true. It does look more calm and peaceful. What I want to see is that manifested in decision making and what takes place on the field. If the players are responding to that training, they're where they're supposed to be. They're lined up right. They're not getting 12 guys on the field. Those things alone would make this team probably win another game and a half. And I have confidence some of that will get better. I'm also convinced it's because they have so many people involved in the decision making. It's like if you ever manage a staff, I've managed staffs. You get 25, 30 people, that's a lot. You try getting 80, you can't be linear. You got to have groups. And I know that's going to be hard, but it may work out well for Billy because now, look, we all got on about having so many coaches, but now they're legal. They can be full-time coaches with the new rules, right?
Oh,
How
yeah.
much can that be, right?
And here's the thing. Now James Houston, the guy they brought in from the New England Patriots, he's now can be the full-time on the field special teams coordinator. Big deal. All of a sudden, you've got Dan Enos, a great coach of dual threat quarterbacks. As all you got to do, look up Mr. Lefevre up at Central Michigan. Dan Lefevre, some of the best dual threat numbers there's ever been. And guess who's going to be able to spend his time personally coaching up DJ Lagway as a full-time coach? Guess what? Ron O'Hara and Billy Napier, they'll have Graham Mertz, but getting that package ready for DJ Lagway, you got a guy that has been there and done that with a great dual threat quarterback, and on and on and on.
Yeah.
This is a better program now than it was 90 days ago.
Yeah.
They still have to win games. That's the part that still has to be proven.
Not about that. As we count down the final couple of minutes, Loren Meadows sends his regards. He had something come up tonight. He couldn't make it. He'll be back next week. Nothing wrong. Everything's okay. Also, I'd like us to think about, all right, we got, 5 days till they're going to start reporting. What is the one storyline that you want to see early out of camp? Let's start with, and give me about a 60-second answer, and then we'll close up tonight with the final word from our friends at Vinstar. So who wants to go first, Ben or Franz?
I can go. I mean, a storyline that I want to see, I want to see our DBs assert themselves as going to be four guys that can play cohesively together. Because the thing about last year and what has been going on is things happen to our DBs that happen to no other DB core in the country. I don't know what it was against Missouri. What, third and forever?
Forever, yeah.
You don't give that up. I don't care who you are. You don't give that up. So for me, Coach, I'm just looking forward to seeing our DBs just be a factor because we got a lot of experience back there. A lot. At the corners, at the safety position, even if Asa just got here, I want to see our DBs, get that to that. I don't want to hear about DBU, even though they're going to talk about it. I just want us to be solid in the defensive backfield starting from day one.
All right, France.
I want to see coming out there and no injuries in August, as we have seen in the past. Injuries, for whatever reason, tend to happen. It's like a wave of them occurs. It's so rare that you have like one injury and you don't have any more. It just seems that they happen in multitudes of injuries. I'd like to see them get through August without a significant major injury, particularly on the two deep, especially on the two deep. If you lose a freshman, I hate it for him, but at least he was probably going to redshirt anyway, and he's got a year to recover.
Yeah.
But I don't want to see any of the upperclassmen on that two deep get injured, particularly in the first couple weeks of 3 weeks as they get prepared for. You got to realize we're going to have 3 weeks of practice, and then we're in the game week mode, which means that practice is over. You're now in game prep. So you got 21 days. That's it.
Yep. Time to go. Yeah. And by the way, what I want to see is the practice when the practice is over and the DB is saying, damn, those guys are fast. It's like, who were those guys out there? That's what I want to see. Like the days of Dempsey and Rainey, right? When you just got those streaks out there. Guys, great job tonight. Ben, thank you so much. Take care of my friend, Franz. I'm glad you made it in for dinner. I wish you the best of your mom and dad, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Have a great weekend, guys.
Take care.
Terrific job. Franz Beard and Ben Troupe. All right, folks, want to round out the night and the week by saying thank you to our great sponsors. Thank you to you, all you folks who support the show every night, who come on here and write comments. And we had a renegade tonight. We had to dump him. He was getting to be low rent. So we had to block him. We're not going to tolerate certain things. You can disagree. You can say things. You can say something controversial, but don't come on here and trash and try to troll, because we're not going to put up with that. And we just got rid of a guy tonight who tried to do that, aggravating everybody else. Don't ruin everybody else's night. But I want to tell you what makes us is our show and our guests and our sponsors. I mentioned VinStar as being a longtime sponsor and friend. I want to thank them all at VinStar and Ocala for not just being a sponsor, but for being such a good stakeholder in downtown Ocala, supporting the community with what they do. And they also are taking care of our health, trying to find ways for better treatments for you and me. They ask that you take part. They need your help. If you are so inclined to be in a group and do a study and find out what things work best for us in our community, they would like you to volunteer for those clinical trials and come in and see what you can find out, and also what they can do for you. And the data they use then goes off to these companies where they do prescribe and make new medicines, which will then be used by our community. So when you go online to rentstar.net, check out, see what these things are about. They have all kinds of clinical trials, some you might be interested in. You could be compensated for time and travel. It's really about what they do. It's a lifeblood of what they do, trying to find the proper medications to treat us in our community. RenStar Medical Research, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today. Have a great night, great weekend. It's on next week, folks. Check us out. We're here 4 nights a week, sometimes 5. And don't forget to subscribe to Gator Bay. I'm Buddy Martin. Have a great night.